For those of you that I have not had the pleasure to meet, my name is David Barth. I'm the VP of Ecom and Marketing at Rally House. So Ezra talked about his love affair. I have a love affair as well with my family. So this is, kind of the reason that I do everything. So my wife, Jill, 15 years, Charlotte, Harrison, William. Last night at 1 in the morning, whenever I actually started working on this deck, I had a picture of my dog in there too, and I took him out because he passed away before the turn of the year, but I almost left him in, but he didn't make the cut this year, so God rest his soul. So anyways, just a little background on me. So I started in my early years in kind of the consulting world, worked across a number of brands, number of the different large holding companies, and then kind of transitioned into what my boss at Bushnell called a real businessman, meaning working within the business side and making decisions and not recommendations. So, and then in 2023, I joined Rally House. So just a little less than 2 years there. So Rally House, just to give you guys a little bit of context of who we are and how we've kind of come to the place in the business that we are today. So it started really as a small, literal mom and pop shop. It was called Mabel's Kitchen, and Mabel, would curate small little local goods throughout the state of Kansas. So it could be, anything from tchotchkes to home goods to specially made items to recipes, and she would create this catalog and allow people to have access to it. And so from Mabel's Kitchen, it transitioned into Kansas Sampler. Kansas Sampler opened 5 stores, and as we've expanded over the years, it's become flown under the new banner of Rally House, which is a little bit more resonant outside of the state of Kansas. So our whole thing is an outrageous selection. Hey, I thought you were gonna proofread my slides back there. Jeez, misspellings, everything. But our whole shtick is, we wanna be as close to the local market and the local consumer as possible. So when you look at a Rally House and you walk in, you feel like Rally House is just for that location that you are. And that's by design. And it seems a little bit chaotic. Has anybody been into a Rally House here? Show me. Chris, I know, has. That's Chris Esterline. He works on my team. He's the one that actually does all the work. I just get to talk about it. So, but our whole kind of focus is, again, it's local, it's gifts, and it's about professional and collegiate licensed products. So what's happened over the last couple years and why I'm standing up here is really, I think, a factor of store growth. So if anybody sat in the little chat that we had yesterday, I said the single greatest digital marketing tactic you can have is opening a bunch of physical retail stores with giant signs on the front. It's the greatest awareness driver that you could possibly have. And so you can see the states that we're in, the states that we're coming into, and the states that we're contemplating. And our growth over the last 3 years is not the same growth trajectory in terms of the store footprint or the proliferation of stores, because we're really kind of focusing in the areas that we can win. And one of the areas that we can win is by aligning ourselves with strong, entrenched partnerships. And that's what has really got us to where we are today. And so when we look at that, it's not just the stores and opening in a strip mall, but we want to focus into an area that also has a large population and is endemic to the products that we're selling. And so what I mean by that is around college campuses. And so we're starting to really, we have so many relationships within these different university networks that have just grown over the years by the nature of our business. And the Liebert family in particular, they're still heavily engaged in the business. They nurture these relationships and value them, right? And I think it's manifested itself in a way that shows based on our presence. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But one of the things that's complex within Rally House, and I don't know if any other business here has the same setup, but we don't have a warehouse. We don't have a centralized distribution center. So we have more than 280 stores. Each one of those is a micro fulfillment center. So as orders flow through online, we basically have a logic tree that's like, which is the closest store to the consumer? Does this store have inventory? When will the inventory deplete? When will the inventory be reordered? Is there another store that we should defer them to? And then there's about 15 other consideration points that we have to go through as we work an order through the system. So that single inventory pool can create challenges for us whenever we have things like what we call a hot market, which is the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl. A lot of people go to the store at the same time. And so there's a pool of inventory that we're decrementing from that we have to be hyper aware of. And so we'll even set up separate inventory location centers. So to serve the Philly market, we might look at Cleveland and say, hey, Cleveland, you're going to be slow this week because you guys don't care about the Eagles. So we're going to put all of our high volume online inventory there, and you're going to pick, pack, ship it from that store. And so we call those exclusive fulfillment centers. So as we've expanded these relationships that we have with the university partners, it has opened up opportunities for us to also act as the merchant of record online. So we have campus locations. This is the Bill Snyder Family Field in Manhattan, Kansas. We have Allen Fieldhouse, the Pete in Pittsburgh. We also do some stuff with Acrisure. Right now, we went and sent a team of people into the NBA stadium in Indianapolis to set up for the Big Ten tournament. So we're literally setting up just for that event. We have 4 different retail locations there. And when it's over, we're going to move it all back out and send everybody back to the stores in which they work, as well as the inventory. So it's an interesting business that moves quite fast. And so, again, this is, I was actually playing with some of the AI stuff that we learned yesterday. It kind of kept me up a little bit too late, but I created these banners off another banner that we had just to show kind of a representative swath of some of the schools that we support. And then add a link in there. So we're not just focused in campus locations within stadiums or on an actual campus, but we also are interested in near campus stuff. And so this is actually a drone photo that I took, and I'm a little disappointed in the rain here this week because I was hoping to do some droning in between sessions. But I flew it over the big house in Michigan when we were up there. So we acquired a retailer that is just off campus. It was called Emden, and is now Rally House. And it is probably one of our higher volume stores. And it is so tied into the community in so many different ways that we've looked at this as it's an eye-opening experience, and we're saying, how can we be more community involved with other businesses that we have or other locations that we have, and then how does that translate from a physical brick and mortar experience into an online experience? And so it's something that we spend a lot of time thinking about. There's a lot of people that are actively pursuing the things that were going well within the Emden business that is now the Rally House business, in engaging with alumni groups or previous letter winners or school administration or just the active student base that's there. So the online presence and where Miva starts to come into this. So if we actually back up about, I don't know, Chris, what was it? December, is that when we started moving things over? No, it was earlier than that, right? It was like October, we'll call it October. So in October, we had rallyhouse.com, which was on Miva. Then we had 2 sites that were on NetSuite SuiteCommerce, and then we had 3 sites that were on BigCommerce. And then we said to Miva, hey, we got this Big Ten opportunity, let's launch this on Miva. And so we had this smattering of different online experiences and online platforms and workflows. And what we found was that there was one partner in the ecosystem that truly understood our business, took the time to do it, and helped us strategically think through how we could improve, and that was Miva. And so what we've done over the last 3 months is we migrated off all those other platforms, and we've moved everything into the Miva environment. And so we have 3 total setups right now, or site instances, I guess. We have Rally House, we have Big Ten, and then we have our multi-domain that we have a lot of these other schools on. And what we've found is that we can launch a site really in about a week. Now, whenever we go and engage with some of these partners, we tell them it's going to be like 6 or 8 weeks, but we know that we could do it in a week because we've done it in a week. And it really comes down to like content prioritization and getting the content and having our teams organized to support it. But the product flows are all occurring from the single point of origination, which is our ERP in NetSuite. And so the products flow in a similar fashion. We have similar rules. And then the orders flow back into our system, and it's all categorized. And then we have the same buy online, pick up in store, for each of these different locations that we have for Rally House. So you can start to see the complexity as we, unravel this a little bit and understand that, okay, there's quite a bit going on here, and I'll kind of talk on a few of those. So our business, again, is focused on this outrageous selection of products. And outrageous, if you go into a Rally House, you'll know what I mean, and you don't even understand the term outrageous until you actually go in there and experience it. It truly is overwhelming, and it's somewhat by design. The design is also because we're opening a new store down the street. We got a bunch of inventory that we want to fill that store with, but we have to stuff another store full before that new store opens, so that way when that store does open, we can just move that inventory over. So there's a little bit of it's like a constant cycle of chaos and order and chaos and order. So We have over 2 million, parent-child products that exist within the ecosystem. Chris said that my number was low this morning. He thinks it's like 3.5. So we could slice hairs, but it's a lot. And there's not a lot of e-commerce platforms that can handle that scale, and also are willing to engage with us and find solutions to the complexities that our business presents. So we also have extensive customer capture. We capture customers in store in the POS, we capture them online, we capture them across each of these individual locations. We have data sharing agreements with the different universities. And so we have to be really precise in the way that we capture and keep and then reuse these customer names that we have. So that way we're not violating any data privacy protection acts, and also we're just acting in good stewardship of the consumer and doing what's right. We also, we have this expansive partner network, so we needed economies of scope in place. We couldn't, every time that we were doing something, create another new site and spend another 2-3 months on development. And that's what we were doing, and that's why we've partnered with Miva, is to get away from that. So we also have pretty complex order management needs, which I'll hit on. I have a slide here in a little bit. I think our order composition makeup is like 11 or 12 different possible order combinations that a consumer could have. But we have a multi-inventory location, which I hit on. We also have a small team in-house. So myself, Chris, and 5 others essentially run the e-commerce business across all of these platforms and the relationships, and understanding all of the marketing activities that are happening, all of our what we call hard sell dates, so things that can't sell before a specific date, and then all of the hot markets that we have. So as soon as a game is clinched, we're putting those products online and we're putting them out on the shelves in the store simultaneously. And then, quite frankly, we were outgrowing our integrations. So the initial Miva setup that we had with Miva Connect and Celigo and the flows that we had was stale. Like, we had reached a point that we had to go back and kind of reinvent the system. And so that's what we did. All right, so Miva's solution. Rick said that I had to put a few bullet points in here with specific terminology. So robust platform with high performance API. I don't even really know what that means, but you guys can understand what I mean when I just talk about the product velocity. But the rest is all my words. So deep knowledge of the integration into the ERP. And what I mean by that is there are multiple people within Miva that know our ERP as well as some of our ERP database engineers. And so to be able to have that dialogue with a partner in this space, it provides tremendous value to us, because it takes a lot of the miscommunication out of the equation. We come into meetings with a common vernacular that allows us to move forward and actually make impactful decisions. So this multi-location, multi-method omnichannel, the multi-site infrastructure, multi-domain. I think another part that's important is having this composable architecture. So you hear a lot about like the Mock Alliance or things like loosely coupled microservices in the space. But really what Miva allows us to do is spin a vendor up, spin a vendor down, put another one in, put another one down, test a certain integration, pull it out if it doesn't work, or if it does work, then push it forward further. So the ecosystem that we've built from a technology standpoint has really been beneficial. At some point, Affirm's gonna want our business, Avalara, Signified, right? And we have ways that we can plug those things in and work rapidly to not lose a step in our business. And then the other part that I just want to hit on, because I think it's important, is the relationship that we have is beyond just Miva as a SaaS provider. It's really Miva is a SaaS provider from a technology standpoint, but then they're a business partner in terms of the way that we develop our go-to-market and the way that we're building out our total online footprint. And so that's been monumental to our success. So the order composition is what I was talking about. So you can see we have dropship products, and not all of our products are in store. Some are actually dropship. Somebody could order a dropship product from here and a dropship product from another vendor, and we have to be able to parse those orders. We could have a buy online, pick up at store order where somebody's going to pick it up, and a dropship order coming from a third-party vendor in which we don't even control the inventory. We can have a customer that wants a product shipped to them. They also want a product sent from a dropship location, and they want to go pick something up for the Eagles parade that's that day. We can have a customer that just wants to have something shipped from one of our stores and then also have a dropship item shipped to them. We could have somebody ship to one customer, then ship to another customer, and have multi-fulfillment locations that are coming from 2 stores in Philly because of the inventory position. We have a person that just wants to buy it online and then go pick it up in store. We could have a person that wants to buy it online, pick it up at store, and then they also want to have something shipped from a store. So you guys understand the complex nature of the business, and there's probably other ones that I don't even have in here as we talk about like exclusive fulfillment centers or preferred fulfillment locations based on market needs. But the system that we've built and the integrations that we have, it adapts and responds and flexes to what we need in the market and allows us to pull this stuff off. So you can see the ecosystem of our physical brick and mortar stores and how it's kind of spread out. You can see the heart of it was, again, in the Kansas City area where the business began, but then it kind of expanded into the Great Lakes, east side, and then kind of down I-35 into the state of Texas. And now we're starting to kind of expand across I-70. But so all of these stores are all capable of having a product, to go through any of those order compositions that we just looked at. And we also have, omnichannel ordering within a store. And so it's a challenging business to keep everything, all the products online, to make sure that we're not overselling, or if we are overselling, it's by design and not by accident, both of which happen, but the by design seems to work pretty well. So that could be like a pre-sale that we know that we're gonna rebuy. We'll push it out even though we're gonna exhaust the inventory in the store, and then the buy online, pick up at store has to turn off based on inventory criteria rules. So you can see what, the challenges that we're facing. So let's talk about hot market. So the Eagles win the Super Bowl, right? It's a great day for everybody in Philly. For people in Kansas City, not such a great day. But at the conclusion of the game, it's basically like, we have all of these products that are already kind of queued up going into SearchSpring or sitting in our NetSuite queues to go into the system. And they don't have a prioritization. It's like an unstructured data lake. It all exists and they all just kind of flow in somewhat like, by randomness. And it's kind of like the start of a Mario Kart race for anybody that's done that. But then the Eagles win the Super Bowl and it's like you gotta hit the turbo and you gotta get out to the front because that product needs to be online at the same time that that product is in store, because if not, then our consumers are gonna feel like we're not fulfilling on our promise, which is to have an outrageous selection and to have it available at the time that they need it. And so we gotta hit that booster and get out front. And so that was something that was a challenge for us over and over and over. And so we put our heads together with Kiefer and Adam and Patrick and a couple others within the Miva ecosystem and said, how can we rebuild this infrastructure, this product integration feed, to be able to have these fast lanes? So we can pass all the other products and have prioritization and put those up. And so that's what we did. We built individual kind of pipelines for the hot markets that we can stage and we can push ahead. We can have ones that are scheduled to hit a certain hard sell date. And then we can have the rest of the products that are there, whether it be product coming back online because inventory is back online, or new product that some of the buying team is adding to support a new market. All of those things are now available to us, and so it allows us to hit this booster and race to the finish line. So this is just kind of an example of what a hot market would look like. And then I couldn't end my talk up here with all this Eagles fanboy stuff, so just leave that for you as we go. But if there's any questions, you guys can ask now, or we could chat after. I'll be around for the rest of the day and a little bit tomorrow, so I appreciate everybody's time.